Oh, we are now recording in progress live from the Bahamas with our friend Alesha and our instructor. And this is me, of course, Alesha DeFalco, but I want to talk about Alesha today because we had a very interesting meeting. And Alesha, I'm going to let you talk about it and what your passion for manual lymph drainage is and how you want to bring it to the islands. And that was something that was always a desire in me, because people would call from the islands and there was really nobody there. So can you enlighten us, like what's going on? Like even going to school there, do they teach about it? What's going on?
Well, no, they actually don't teach lymphatic drainage at the school that I attended. It's more of a continuing education. So if you would want to learn lymphatic drainage, you would have to go and seek out the education to do so. And that's what I did. I did it back in 2006. And then years later, because I've been seeing so much here in the Bahamas with persons retaining fluid and not getting the help and the swelling and what's not. And then there, of course, there are a lot of ladies here going and getting their bodies done. And it's hard to find a therapist. So I decided to go and refresh my knowledge. And that's when I hooked up with you, Lisa, and I retook the class last year, September, early September, which we had a marvelous time. I took
I
4
know,
colleagues.
we had a great time with all the girls. I missed them all.
Yes, we had a great time. And taking the class and refreshing what I had already learned, it was really, it was rewarding, and enlightening. Okay, so.
Did you find it different? Because, just to share, I know your background and mine, when we learned back in the day, the only thing you could learn was about lymphedema and wrapping and wound care was not part of our scope of practice, unless you went on and became an OT or PT, which I did later. And then I also found that those limbs were very heavy. And if you're 100 pounds like me, after 3 or 4 years of that, you're breaking your back, lifting the limbs of people who can't lift them themselves.
Yeah.
And then the insurance wasn't covering it. I'm not sure how it was covered in the Bahamas. I know that we had patients from the Bahamas because they had nowhere to go. But then this whole explosion came with the, when we started working with plastic surgery. And that's a place in the Bahamas that I know, and Dr. Rademacher on our board goes to your country to offer services that would be more cost effective than being in the United States.
Yeah, and actually you mentioning the PT and OT, when I did the class in 2006, the class mostly catered to those therapists. That's who was in the class with me. It wasn't really persons like myself who were just practicing massage therapy. They were more catering to OT and PT. So that's why I learned it on that scale then. But I realized that I needed more after the years and getting into it. So that's why I reached out to you and took the class with you.
And you probably found, like I did, when I first took the classes as an LMT, that there were things in those courses that were out of scope of practice that I could not do. I could not use a wound vac. I could not do things that they could do. And I'm going, why am I sitting in a class paying $3,000 and I can't use half of what I'm learning? And the things I want to learn and can do, I'm not learning. And
Right.
that's what we hear a lot of. And that's why we're so happy. You, number one, you know the difference. You've had both classes. And I want to say this, they are both good. If you're an OT or PT, I'd say, hey, take a lymphedema class. It's not a bad thing. For you, you can use it in a hospital. You can bill Medicare. But for the massage therapists, they got to work in places that are in their scope, like with sports, with hospice, with day spas, with the head, neck, and face. And you've been doing that, Alesha. And the thing is, now, because people have been asking, and you said it, where did you have to go to learn your lymph drainage? Where did you go?
I went to Lisa. I sought out Lisa and I came and I gave her a call and we traveled over to Fort Lauderdale and we took the class, and we had a great time.
We got the girls came
And
to Orlando because now we are so busy, and it's wonderful because now we have Alesha who is going to be going between Florida and the islands.
Yeah.
This is her area and territory, working with the Bahamas. She's familiar with the islands. And people, I heard when I went to the islands, I was in the Virgin Islands, people were saying it costs them so much money to travel that it costs more for the travel than it does for the manual lymph drainage. I mean, is that true? Because I just want to get a thumb on the pulse of how much does manual lymph drainage go for in the islands? About an hour's treatment.
Well, I know I would charge like $140 to $150 for the service because it is a specialty.
Yes, you are
Yeah.
a specialist. You're a certified practitioner internationally. We're getting you on board with the international board, so that you guys can have your names on the list for doctors in your area that are looking for what you have to offer.
Right. And doing the service, having the service done, you would see results right away. Because we practice in class with you and we all were up and down because the drainage was working. Yeah, the lymph was activated and it was speeding up and it worked right away once we got that hands-on technique down. It worked right away and we saw results. We were all amazed,
All of you were sending your emails and your texts that first week. I was so proud of what you gals did. You didn't wait. You just jumped right in. You weren't afraid. You knew what you learned. And would you like to share maybe a case that you have worked on that people here might be interested in? Something that's going on in the islands that people need MLD for?
Sure. Well, I have this client. She has a whole heap of issues, lymph and respiratory issues and allergies, and everything is going on with her. And because of these issues, she retained a lot of fluid, especially like in her lower limbs. I did the service, and her feedback was, she sent me a testimonial that she noticed immediately that fluid, she was able to go to the bathroom right away. Yes, it's lymphatic sends you to the bathroom.
Yes,
okay.
We know all about that, don't we?
Yes, she was able to go right away. And I can't remember the exact amount, but she measured it of how weight came down within that one service. You know, I think it may have been 2.5 or so, but she noticed that she got rid of that fluid right away. Yeah. So
Yes.
some people, you may be thinking, oh, I'm gaining so much weight, or oh, this is going on with me. It's maybe just because you have a sluggish lymphatic system, you know, and it needs that boost to get going. Yeah.
Especially, you know, I think about people that are working and they're sitting all day and they don't realize that all this lower extremity lymph, gravity's just going to pull it to the ground. And then you look at the end of the day, why do I have swollen ankles?
Yeah.
Well, that has to do with you not standing up. Here I am standing up, but you need to get up and move that lymph system because it's not generated by your heart. It's generated by muscle movement. And that's why we have Alesha as one of the teachers for the Bahamas now, that's going to be going out and servicing your area. So, oh my gosh, Alesha, when we put this out there, you know what's going to happen.
I'm so excited.
Everybody here in Florida and all US is going to want to come to you.
I am so excited.
You got room in your house because you're going to have people wanting to come. I'm joking around, but Alesha does. She has locations where you can take classes with her. Alesha, do you have a phone number that we can leave with the people that they can know, you know, where they can reach you? Like, what phone number would you want us to leave?
You can use my direct contact, which will be 242, because it's a Bahamian area code, okay? 242-824-4994.
So let me repeat it. I got 242-824-4994.
Yes, very easy to remember.
And what do you like to use as an email?
You can use Alesha, ALESHIA_DS@gmail.com.
So I got
SHIA.
Oh, I do. SHIA.
D as in Dan and S as in Sans.
DS
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Yes.
So I'm just putting that up there so that if you're wanting to reach Instructor Alesha, because yes, we are the MLD Institute International, but sometimes you want to talk to someone right on that island that maybe you have a loved one that lives there and you want someone that's there right now. You might be calling Alesha. I get those kind of calls all the time. Do you have someone in my area?
And you can also check out my Instagram as well, the different services and the testimony that I was talking about as well. That would be Alesha Sans. You can find me on Instagram.
So ALEISHA.
No, ALESHIA.
ALESHIA.
Right. Sans.
SANDS.
Right.
And that's going to be at Instagram.
Yes.
You want to, I know all those people that like seeing photos. Okay, we got stuff. Our instructors have everything on Instagram. They have stuff on Facebook. Everybody has a way to reach out to you. But Alesha, I thank you for taking the time today to address the islands there, because I got a feeling we're gonna be talking Aruba, Jamaica, the Bahamas.
Turks and
And
Caicos, I would love to go there and share my knowledge
yes,
and, yeah.
yeah, and matter of fact, just before we go, one of my first patients was from the Caicos. And because there was no insurance that would cover her on her island, the government actually paid for her to come to us in Florida. They paid her hotel, they paid for her food, for everything, for the treatment, for her to get help. So
Okay.
I want people to know that if you're in the islands, like Alesha, if you're there, there is help, but you may need to contact your government if you don't have a practitioner on your island. And there are so many practitioners that are they're either they're not there, or they're there and they're not letting the government know that they are there, so that they can get to those people and get them help. So we thank everybody for joining us. Welcome to the Bahamas, guys. And hey, we got a surprise for you. We will be doing one of our master seminars with Dr. Bart Rademacher in the Bahamas. And guess what? He's a good friend of Alesha and some of her contacts and doctors there. So stay tuned. There's more coming.
Woohoo!
Yeah, woohoo! So here we go, girl. You
Yeah.
do it. Okay.